I'm going to turn it over to you for right now so you can get that on out.
Okay, yeah, today I was on Wolf Spirit Radio, and of course, there was a lot of excitement and concern because they had a direct line to some men at the Standing Rock Sakowian camp down there in Standing Rock. And we're not positive, but it's been claimed that they've been being bombed with mustard gas. Anyway, I was looking around online to see if I could find more information about this. It was right on the ground there. It was a fellow who's been there for quite a while. I think he's a vet. Anyway, I was looking online to find out if anybody on the Facebooks of the Standing Rock down there, and just looking on Indians.com, which I just found this very interesting read here about Charmaine Whiteface. She's a grandmother down there, and she said, "Let the big spirits take over at Standing Rock," and that caught my attention. And this is an elder's request. And it says here, in the respectful ways of the Sioux culture, when an elder requests you to do something, you do it. This shows your respect for their wisdom and compassion. This editorial is from a request by elders from both Standing Rock and Pine Ridge reservations regarding the camp at Cannonball. This camp started as a spiritual camp whose purpose was to pray for good water for the people. The next step, then, is to trust that your prayers were heard. You go home and go on with your life, knowing that your prayers will be answered. You need to do this so you will be out of the way of whatever the Creator has in mind. You need to step aside and let the big spirits do whatever they are going to do. You need to get out of the way to let the miracle happen. And so she goes on to explain about this, like an example, for instance. In the past 14 years, I have seen this happening many, many times. I'll tell you the most recent example was last April in 2016. We had a small prayer gathering to ask the Creator to keep all the minerals, the oil, the uranium, the coal, the gold, the silver, and so forth, to keep them in the ground where they belong, as they are there for a reason. American and European people and Western science does not understand that these things are where they are located for a reason that human beings don't really necessarily need to know. So we prayed to help Mother Earth to be healthy by keeping all of these things in the ground where they belong. Then we had lunch, and then we all went home. Then about a month ago, the worldwide price for uranium dropped to $18.75 per pound. It might be even less money now. This price is almost half as much as is needed just to dig the uranium out of the ground. How many mines will not be built because it will be financially impossible to make any money? How many active uranium mines will have to close because they can't make enough money to operate? How much uranium will be left in the ground where it belongs? Our little handful of people praying together last April did not have the ability to change the worldwide price, or even to think of such a thing. We trusted that the Creator and the big spirits heard our prayers, and then we went home. We got out of their way. It is miracles such as this that we have seen for many years, so we know that something similar could happen at Cannonball if the people would go home and get out of the way of the big spirits. What would happen if all the people went home and prayed for good water in their own areas? To do this means trusting that your prayers will be heard, and not just for good water at Standing Rock, but for good water all over the world. It means having patience to wait for whatever the Creator has in mind. It means trusting that the Maker of innumerable universes, excuse me, that the maker of innumerable universes is wiser, knows more, sees more, and can accomplish much more than mere human beings. It also means being humble in waiting for the answer to your prayers. Elders who have seen and experienced these types of miracles and who give their requests do need to be heard. The elders are requesting now that it is time to break camp at Cannonball. Go home and trust that your prayers have been heard. Go on about your lives and let the Creator and the big spirits answer the prayers. It might not be in a way that you thought of, but it will be in a much better way. So this is Charmaine Whiteface. She's Ogalala Tutawano Chetty Sakowin. She's a great-grandmother and so on. Anyway, so I wanted to talk with you about that, Patty, because I know you requested that I read this, and so I want to get your thoughts on this because I have a lot of thoughts on this actually. So what are you feeling on this?
You know, the thing of it is that we were talking about the Raging River prophecy, and when I was reading this earlier, after you passed me the link, I thought, well, this is the Raging River prophecy part of it, because what they are in essence is saying is put your faith in your prayer and know that these things happen. And it's been proven over and over and over again. You know, today when we were watching that video that was put out live, when they were again trying to corral the prayer, the protectors who were in prayer, an eagle flew over and flew across the field, and the person who was doing the interview said, the eagle's telling us where to go. And this has always been the way with the people who are so closely connected to the mother and all living things. And it's because of the spiritual belief and faith that they have that they are able to see these things, and I do believe that they are speaking wisely when they are telling people to go home and to take care of things in their areas, to make sure the water is clean in their areas, and things like this. We don't lose the voice, we just take it to all over, you know, and we become proactive wherever we're at. And in prayer, we know that the Creator and the universe will move in the direction that it is supposed to move in, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, I've had a few people say things to me like, I have an answer, I have a solution, but these elders, you know, aren't contacting me, and those people are frustrated. You know, I say to them, you don't understand the way the Indian people work. You know, if they heard about something that you suggest, they would go and pray on it. Whoever brings a message to the elders offers them the information, and the elders don't jump on it right away. They go pray. And the way they pray, of course, is with the sacred pipe or in a ceremony. And then they receive information. They receive guidance through that prayer of requesting information on what to do, how to go about something. And that's what they believe in, and that's what they trust. And with, you know, with what Charlene is saying, they know that their prayers will be answered. It's in Spirit's time. It's not in our time. And it's not going to be the way we want it to be. Something is happening. I've been saying it over and over again. Something out there is happening. The whole world is watching here. You know, the police and some soldiers are standing there with tears in their eyes. And I guess over, you know, maybe almost 100 of them now have stepped away from their jobs and are standing there with Standing Rock people, you know. Something big is happening. It's not like it's something that we could imagine that's happening, but prayers are powerful, and this is what the elders are saying. And here I'm thinking, in a way, you know, all the people who went to Standing Rock initially, this was good because it brought the attention. All those standing up, going there, brought the attention of the whole world. Okay, that was the first step. Okay, they were all welcome. They were all asked to come and stand with us at Standing Rock. Now you have thousands of people there, a lot of different energy, a lot of people that, may not really realize, how to go about being in ceremony, because as we know from right the get-go, the elders have said this is a prayer. Put up camps, tents, and digging holes for this and digging latrine holes. You have all that when you have people coming, hundreds and hundreds of people coming to set up camp. There's nothing there. You can't get a motel room. They're out on the plains. So they're concerned about that because that's not the way things are done. If you have to put up a structure, well, the teepees don't go into the Mother Earth. If you have to put a tent up and you put stakes in the earth, in a way you do it with a prayer. You offer tobacco before you stick something into the mother. This is the respect for the mother. Okay, this is the way of the people. So they are concerned, and also they are concerned, of course, about what is ramping up there, the violence of the police against the people, and children and young people, elders. So they're very concerned about that. Now, some of the elders have asked the people to leave now. They want the prayers to work. Well, let me rephrase that. They know that the only way that these prayers can function and be fulfilled is if all things are in harmony and balance there, because you have a lot of people going on, you don't know how many people are holding prayer there. You've got hundreds and hundreds of people there. They all have good intention, but if they don't know this way, just know other people who are doing various other things energetically, and that's intrusive, if you know what I mean, Patty.
Well, yeah, and the issue that they're facing there now, I know that there are a lot of people who want to be there, and they feel that it is their fight, along with Standing Rock, and it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yet, their homes are in danger. Their waterways are in danger. Anyone who lives along the Mississippi, any of its tributaries below North Dakota, are going to be in harm's way. This is a fact, and I don't know. I feel, Barb, I really do feel that things are not going to be any better when the veterans get there. And I'm wondering if the elders have seen this too. I know that a lot of people are putting their faith in the veterans, and the veterans are saying they're going there unarmed. I understand this, and they're going to stand between the protectors and the armed people there. I know there's a lot of people say the Morton County Sheriff's Department, but there's more than that. And so they're just armed people there with guns that mean harm and have done harm. And they're going to put themselves in harm's way. Well, will we breed anger over this? Will this bring peace if the world, if the people who support the veterans also see them being treated badly also? Does it produce a world in which people are standing in love, or are they standing in anger? If we rise up in anger and we bring anger to the table, then we've lost, because we come from a different place. We are protectors. We are not aggressors. And I think that this is the most important thing. We can be protectors and do our best to protect, and we can pray, and we can do all of these things which will make a difference. But once we bring anger into the picture and allow it to fester, allow it to breed, the pain and suffering that people will see. I know, Barb, I've watched and I have become angry at what they have been doing to the elders, to the young, to even the animals, and this brings anger to me, and I know better. I know that I can't exhibit my anger. I can't throw my anger out there, because I don't want anybody thinking that anger might in any way be the cure for what is happening right now. We need to reach people. We need to get people to understand that this is not a red issue versus white versus yellow versus black issue. It has nothing to do with the color of our skin. It has nothing at all to do with that. What it has to do with is the Mother Earth and our children's lives and their future, right? So I'm with the grandmothers. I agree wholeheartedly, and I know that what they have brought, and the elders, what they have brought is sacred and been brought through prayer. To me, that's very obvious, and their wisdoms are clear to me. And I just hope that it becomes clear to everyone else, and they don't take offense and think that, oh, you just don't want to see. It's not about that at all. I won't be able to da-da-da-da-da. Well, yes, you will. You don't have to be on the front lines taking a rubber bullet in the face to affect change. As the elders stated, prayer is magical. It is magic. It is the one true frequency and vibration that is so pure that it can reach the universe. It can reach the Creator. It can touch each and every one of us. It can change the world, you know. We just have to, I don't know, Barb, how do we get there? How do we get there?
Well, I just know
how do you
that
tell all these people, you know? How many are there?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, I think there's several thousand people there now. I don't know. There's been up to 10,000 people there. I don't know how many are there now. But what this is about is ancient wisdom, you know. We're talking a people who have had experience for centuries and centuries, and through their generations handed down the power of prayer, the knowledge and wisdom about prayer, and letting those, what they call big spirits, they mean it when they say big spirits. They mean it because they know what those big spirits are, okay? And they know, you know, that was an example that she gave, was a very, I'd say it was a one example, but a very small example. I've seen amazing things happen with prayer that are monumental. And when they say big spirits, they really mean it. But, you know, you have to get out of the way, like they're saying, because when you have, and I'm just going to say mobs of people, you have both sides, mobs of people, okay, standing there with that energy, that energy, that energy. There's fear, you know, there's a lot of fear. There's hatred, there's anger. You know, there's all this energy going on, and that is very disruptive for when you have prayers being sent out through that sacred pipe especially. And so, and I believe this is what the elders are talking about. You know, they're very grateful that people came. They didn't say we're not grateful that people came. They're saying, come, say your prayers, put your tobacco down, and now go home and have trust and faith that your prayers are going to work, and let the big spirits do their job, because they're all in prayer. The elders that are there, they're not standing there in that front line screaming their heads off at the police. You know, they're standing there with their sacreds, or they're in the lodge praying with a sacred pipe, or they're putting down tobacco, or they're drumming, or they're singing. No, they're not out there standing there at the line throwing darts, you know, anger darts, you know, they're not doing that. But you can bet your bottom dollar that there are people there. And fear, they're not standing there in that line arm in arm with all the people in fear. You know, that's not an energy. They know that energy is disruptive for prayer, you know, for harmony and balance, and that the big spirits can do their work. It's distracting energetically. It's very amazing, the energies that we're talking about right now. So, you know, they've asked, and I don't know, they're on a floodplain. That's the other thing. I just heard that out, you know, they're on a floodplain, and so now they've got to move that camp anyway, because, you know, I guess that season might be coming up. So I don't really know. I feel this thing about the vets, too, is, you know, very deeply concerning, because that is almost, I don't know, is it going to push the other side to, instead of rubber bullets, bringing real ammunition. I think that it's going to be moving that way, even if the vets didn't come there. Look at the violence has escalated. They are escalating. They're just a breath away from digging into the mother, and they are losing money hand over fist, and they are in fear of these big spirits prayers. They really are. So, and they're losing their money. And so I guess it's a big lesson to me. It's a big teaching for all people that are there, as to listen to the wisdom of the original people who really know how to be on the mother, they really understand the way of prayer and harmony and balance, and how to hold that energy. That's, so I guess to me, something huge is going on here, something beyond our imaginings. And we can see it in little places, like I just said, like those police with tears in their eyes or leaving their jobs. And yes, the vets coming. There's, what'd you say? How many are there now? 1,000? 1,500? 1,500 vets?
1,500 at last count, but they said there's even more people who are not veterans who are calling them, wanting to know what they can do to help. So I'm sure this number is growing.
Oh, you can bet your bottom dollar it's growing, because, here's the thing. I know that there have been infiltrators into the camps, and they all know it too. They've caught them out. So you get some infiltrators in there that the DAPL goons put in, and trouble really, really starts, okay? It's not going to be a peaceful protest when you get them right in your face, right? When you have those vets standing in that line saying, we are willing to die, put our lives on the line. Now, we call those the dog soldiers. If you know anything about the way of the Lakota people or the Sioux Nation, is they had what they call dog soldiers. And they staked themselves to the ground in the front, literally staked a pole and tied it around them so they would not be able to run away. And they stood there, and they were the first ones to take the brunt of any other warriors coming to fight their people. They were the protectors of the women and the children, and they were called the dog soldiers. And they would say, it is a good day to die. They were not afraid of death. This was, to save the children and their people. So I'm just trying to see this thing here, I know it's a beautiful, powerful thing that the vets are standing up. They did make a commitment and took an oath to protect the people of the United States, not only off the Turtle Island, but here too. And now they are saying that our government is, evil and doing harm to their own people, and they are standing up, coming there to protect them. And this is very huge. This has to touch other people. Something has to happen here with that, and maybe, so far that's been put out, and I don't hear anybody. I don't hear the coming in, President Trump saying anything. I don't hear Obama saying anything about, gee, the vets are coming. But they're saying something to each other. You bet your bottom dollar that they're very well aware of this. So what are they going to do about it? You've got United States military, veterans who have been wronged, we know that, going to Standing Rock. And now they just can't, brush the people away and so easily, because now something else is happening here, a different layer. It's like I pray that no one loses their life, but that would be a miracle, and that's what we have to pray for, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat, and Ham Radio Forever says, Patty, come out here and I will show you what a plastic bullet is, or what they do. Also, though, they have these, and one of the protectors said even, and it did, it looks like the little prayer bundles that you tie in the trees, and it was filled with buckshot.
Yeah.
So they're firing these too, and also these canisters that they're firing with this supposed the gas that makes you cry or whatever that is or whatever.
Tear gas.
Tear gas. One of those, actually, they showed them. They had one that had exploded, and it had just shredded the container that it was in, and another one that had not exploded. And this is what got caught in, I think it's Sophia's arm, and destroyed her arm from the elbow down to the wrist. And
yeah.
Yeah, I saw
it imploded. It imploded right there in her arm,
yes.
and tore bonage, the muscle tissue. I mean, it's really quite a horrible. And she may very well lose her arm. I mean, they're trying to take muscle tissue from her back and legs and to renew that arm. It's going to have very little use. But and then the other woman with her that got shot in the eye, and other people got shot in the face. You know, we're seeing this horrible stuff here on the United States of America. It's like we're looking at Vietnam all over, you know, or some other, you know, Afghanistan or what's going on there in Aleppo, and all this is happening, and our government is involved in it. You know, our government is involved in this. So
it's not my government.
Well, it's not your government.
It hasn't been our government in a long time.
Well, yeah, under the umbrella of our government. We know that it's not. We know that it's, you know, a hidden government, and you know.
But this is just a mirror, isn't it, of every other government out there, what they're doing to their people.
It's all over. It's not just the United States hidden government. It's, you know, it is all over, happening in every country. And people are fighting and standing up and coming together all over the world for these issues, you know. It's really an amazing time that we are taking part in here. And, you know, there are moments of upliftment, and there are moments when you just fall down. It's like that, you know, this is life, you know, but we are reaching points, I feel, you know, places, tipping points. And geez, we're not even talking about what's happening to the water. We're not even talking about the die-offs, right, Patty? We're just talking about, you know, this new page here, you know. It's like we turned a corner, and where the heck are we here, you know? So it's kind of like I find myself, and I've talked about this, I said, you know, we have to be very careful. Very careful, because as I said, those elders are there on the ground, but they are not in fear, and they are not angry. They are in prayer, because they have such powerful faith in prayer and those big spirits, due to generations and generations and generations of what happens when you pray in the way that they pray. So I myself have found that I'm getting spun around, you know. We're looking at this stuff, we drop, our energy drops, we get despairing, you know, we get hopeless, we get helpless, we get sad, we get angry. We have to be very careful. We have to take, you know, the teachings here that is right in our face in this moment of time from the first people here who know how, receive the information and the guidance on how to live in harmony and balance and be in relationship to Creator, the Creator of us and the Creator of this earth and the water, everything. So I'm just saying that this is a time for us to learn, to receive information and guidance from the wise ones here, the elders, and don't take it lightly, you know. Be careful with your energy about getting angry and frustrated or despairing, because that's not a helpful energy. That is not being in prayer. I think it's sort of like, you know, when every day and perhaps every moment of the day, you need to be conscientiously or consciously connecting to your prayer for things to shift, to be coming into harmony and balance, and people standing together in the light in a good way, right? You know, not fall into that energy or get into the spin, because that's not going to help the prayer at all. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not. And if you're standing there and you're in prayer, and these thugs come at you, and you give in, which I don't know many people who could stand against what they're faced with there and not lose it a little bit, be in fear when they're shooting at your face deliberately, when they're shooting at your groin. It disrupts your prayer. It's better to be in prayer in a sacred space within yourself, a place where your prayers are all that you are. That's why the elders do it in ceremony. That's why they go into ceremony. They create a sacred place. Some of you might call it a place of protection or whatever, a median where you are free to experience spirit and are not deterred by other things. Prayer is very, very important, and all prayer is important, but there's so much chaos that can happen, as we've seen, that it might even put a stumbling block, for those who are in prayer. We can't change what is going to happen with DAPL by bringing everybody to Standing Rock. I know that would be optimum, but it won't affect the change that we need. We need people in their own communities, people standing up, taking your prayers to the steps of the courthouse, the senators, all the people who are part of this pipeline, even those who live down river, all the way to Louisiana, have something in this fight, a reason to stop DAPL, a reason to pray, a reason to reach out and grab a hold of that positive vibration and send that message out to Creator and to the universe and to the ancestors, the great spirits. All of these things that we can do are powerful. Facing off against an armed enemy is not powerful, even though the fact that these people are standing in prayer even after all this time, to me, shows great faith and great power, because to control one's anger at seeing the person next to you be shot in the head or lose their arm, be sprayed, and seeing the elders and other people experiencing hypothermia and heart attacks due to these water cannons. Horses have been shot. They had to put one down today, from what I understand from the incursion earlier in the day. All of these things work against, as well as strengthening the people's resolve, because the people see this and, hey, you're not going to do this anymore. We're going to bring more people here, and we're going to stand in front of you, but more people are going to get hurt. This is a corporation, The corporation is the snake. Yeah, as Luz Hay is saying in the chat. This black snake is not going to stop. It's going to run over everyone if we don't start all standing up. And you do that in your own community. You do that and you say, we are tired of living this way. We are tired of our children not being able to drink healthy water. We are tired of fearing the next oil spill, of breathing the fumes that come out of these punctured pipelines, And the real tell of it is ask your senator, how come we have to pay for the pipelines when they rupture, but the companies who have the pipelines ruptured get paid by their insurance company, and the more oil they leak, the more the insurance company pays them? Why is that like that? Why is it? It's because there is no care to your land, your water, or your life. They don't care. So if we're going to fight them, we have to do it where we have our power, where we have our strength, and that is in our spiritual connection with each other and with the Creator and with the universe. I really do think. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm right there with you, because for the longest time I've been saying it. This time now, the timeline we are in is about our spirituality. Spirituality. It's about the power of our spirituality, which of course is your relationship to God or Creator, your power that you hold within, which is your own spirit that you hold within, and coming along with all that. And if you watch the elders, you can see they are strong, and they are focused, and they are in prayer. They are not angry. They are not violent. They have compassion and love, and they are in prayer. Okay? So can we be that way ourselves? Can we stand strong, for the water, for the water people, the waters, the forests, everything here, that was gifted to us, and for our children and our grandchildren, It's sort of like, I guess, taking the lesson from the elders here, and I just keep repeating the message of the grandmother there is, you make your prayer, and you have to, when you make that prayer, it comes with belief that the prayer will be answered, and then you step out of the way. Step out of the way and go to your home and begin praying there too. Like you're saying, go back to your people, go back to the community, start your prayer circles there, go by the water there, do the water ceremony wherever you live, gather the people in the community, start talking and sharing about what is going on with the water, do your prayers with the people, circle up around all the waters, go home, let the big spirits create the miracle. Because if everybody's energies are all, like wackadoodle out there, that's disruptive energetically. And, I'm just saying, looking at the energy and the frequency of things, prayer, to manifest something, to manifest a miracle, you have to hold a certain energy. You have to be in alignment with the source of that miracle. And those are the big spirits that the grandmother's talking about, I'm just saying, so yeah, you can still participate. The elders aren't saying go home and, just go back to whatever. They're saying go back home and pray in your communities for the waters where you are. Carry the message about what is going on with you. Go back and walk in a sacred way. Don't go back and carry anger. Don't go back and carry that energy. Because that's very disruptive for your own spirit and for the work that you just got done doing in a prayer. So yeah, it's like I feel that the prophecy speaks about the black snake. When the black snake happens, things will be, this will be the end. And that's the words, but we don't know what that end really will look like. We don't know fully what that really means, that prophecy. It may be the end of one thing, but the beginning of something else. Because as we know, that's usually the law of the universal law. When one thing ends, something else begins. And everybody coming together and rising and standing together, and the whole world is watching. It's about time that the people hear and know what the people around the world know about this country. As I said before, this country, even those that, came here with their generations ago, this country, Turtle Island here, was paradise. And this country was founded on genocide. It was founded on slavery, and it was founded on manifest destiny. Now, this was a country that didn't make this country great. No, for a handful, well, not a handful, for a large group of people, millions of people that lived here. This was their home, their land. Wasn't great for them, So people have to wake up claiming that this is their land, this is belongs to them. Do your research if you really want to have an argument with somebody about what the people there at Standing Rock, people are saying, well, they're trespassing, do your research. You will find out that land treaty right was given to them, that land right there, you know, go do the
That's true.
research.
There's so many people who don't realize that. They keep listening to the mainstream media and saying, well, it's not their land anyway. Well, yes, it is. It has not been recognized because they don't recognize treaties. They break treaties. But yes, it is treaty right. It is treaty land, and it is still their land. Yeah.
Well, and here's the remark. Los Hay says land belongs to nobody, and that's the way the First Nations people always spoke about the land.
But
The
then they
land,
were
the
put on
land
little
belonged,
boxes and
well, and
told
they were
this is where you
told,
can live.
and they were given the paper. Here's the treaty that says that this land is yours, because, was it Sitting Bull who said I would never sell my mother? And that was not the mindset of the First Nations people. Land belonged to no one. It's a gift to everyone. We don't own this land. We take care of this land for the coming generations, but nobody owns it. But that's the mindset of the European, manifest destiny that came here, to own everything, to take everything as their own and to own it, to sell it, to rape it, to corrupt it, to
And
destroy it.
it's just like you have your home and your yard. That is your land. Not to say that you own that land, but that's the land that you live upon. And if your neighbor were to come over and say, you don't have a right to be on that land, would you say, okay, because nobody belongs to the land, or would you say, no, I have a right to live on this land? Well, that's what those treaties were. It was the government telling the people who were here originally that you have this little spot of land that you can live on. And that land was given to them in treaty so that they could live upon the land instead of being run in all directions. That's what we talk about when we say the land belongs to them. We don't mean that physically they own the land. We mean that they have the right to live on that land. It was granted to them in treaty.
It was granted to them, and then it was taken back. And then they moved on another plot of land that another treaty written said, this is your land now. Here you go. Go on now. Here's your land. And I don't know, whenever it came along, oh, wait, we need what's under that land. Sorry, here's another treaty. Now move over here. And that went on and on and on and on. So when people say, because they, read the lies in the media that they're trespassing, they're not trespassing. The treaties were, weren't honored. It is that land was given, and prior to the Europeans coming, that land was where the people lived for generations before they came up with all this idea about giving you a paper in a treaty and saying this land will be yours now. So these lands were where the people lived all over Turtle Island, millions of people, First Nations people here. So this is what we're looking at. Yeah, stupid is so true. It is stupid, but it's very real, and and so the thing about the water, of course, it's quite fascinating to me because if also do research on pipeline breaks. There have been so many pipeline breaks and destruction of water sources all over the world, not just here, that nobody knows about. They hide these things. They cover them up with dirt and sand, by the way. They just bulldoze them over and just cover them up. They don't even clean them up in places. They don't even let anybody know there's a spill. Or if there is a spill notice, they say, well, there was no damage or no harm. I'm sorry. That stuff is poison, and there is harm, and it is dangerous. But all of their words are just to placate everybody so that they can go back to their, couch or their shopping or their, iPhones or cell phones or whatever they're doing, just so everybody goes, oh, okay, they've got it. They're handling it. They're taking care of it. It's okay. Not in my backyard, so I don't have to worry.
Well, and we've had, Standing Rock is stopping trying to stop a pipeline that is coming through their lands that is going to carry oil, crude, thick stuff that they have chemicals. They have to add chemicals to it to get it to run down the pipe. And these chemicals, when there's a rupture in this pipeline, these chemicals produce a gas which comes out into the air. It's not just the oil that spills on the ground and into the waterways. It's also the gases that are released from these chemicals used to thin this stuff down to get it through. And we can look at, where was it, Pennsylvania, Arkansas, where they did the fracking and the lighting of the tap water on fire. And then we can look at Flint, Michigan, with the lead-contaminated water that the city officials knew about and did nothing to stop. And you look at this, and you look at what's going on in South Dakota, and you have to say, I am involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, just here recently with the city of Newburgh, about 5 miles south of me, they've just discovered, lead and some other chemical in the water. And now they've got to test everybody, and it's a large city. Kind of I want to say, the majority are poor people, and now they've got to keep track of everybody and test them, and people are sick, their children are sick. This is going on all over the world, so it's not just about Standing Rock, and the elders have been saying that. They're standing there for everyone, not just them. It's not just about them. They're standing and praying for all the water, for all people. So this is a big thing. Those people who are standing, fighting against the protectors, they drink the water too. Like, you think, well, what's with those people? That they don't get this peace. And it's all about greed, you see. Now, those policemen there, they have a job. They might not have a lot of money. They're not making a lot of money. It's the ones behind these corporations that evil, is greed. And that makes people crazy. That gives people permission, that greed, to violate human beings, children, women, people, men, water, earth, everything that we rely on for our survival, for our life and our generations coming. They're polluting it out of greed. Greed is an evil energy. It's very dark, very evil. It makes people do horrible things. They are soulless people. So those poor guys, standing there with all their gear on, what do they make a week or a month? They have a job. That's all, and some of them are being touched, and some of them are there in a very nasty, mean way, as I've heard stories of one of the guys all dressed up in his riot gear, shot a person in the chest with a rubber bullet, and the young man went down on the ground and looked up and he said, why are you doing this to me? And this guy had a grin, like a real evil grin on his face, and shot the kid in both of his kneecaps. Just like, that's evil. That is evil. That's a soulless person. I'm talking about this. Yes, greed. It's really very evil. Greed makes people do things that are stunning to other human beings and to the Mother Earth. That's part of manifest destiny, that greed mentality. We can take anything we want and do anything to it that we want to, so I can put money in my pocket and buy whatever I want. This is like you sell your soul to the devil and you will get whatever you want, but you will never, ever be happy. Never.
I agree. You can't let this part of society that is keyed in on the monetary value rule your life.
I want to just say I'm getting off to another topic here because today I was driving in my car and I was ranting. I was ranting and ranting. I was listening to a particular news station that, of NPR, public radio, which is somewhat getting corrupted as well, which is very disappointing, but I'm not surprised. But anyway, there was an advertisement that popped in, and it was an advertisement. Now, we talk about the media, the brainwashing media, and how people are just brainwashed to be robots and puppets and go out and consume because they're told that if you consume this, you will be happy and you will have, everything you need and so on. So this was an advertisement for pajamas, right? Pajamas for the whole family. You can get these pajamas for your husband, yourself, and your 5 kids. You can get them with puppies or kittens on, so we'll all look alike. We will have these, fuzzy, fuzzy pajamas, and we'll all stand there, in a row. We can take a selfie, and then we could put it on Facebook. I'm just going on here. That was my rant. I was in the car ranting about this insanity of people buying pajamas that all look alike with kitties or puppies on them for people to go consume these things. And I just imagine this family like little robots. Oh, look at honey, look at what I got. I got jammies for us. Oh, look at the kitties and look at the puppies for the kids. Well, what'd you spend on that? Just a couple $100, but whatever. And go, let's take a selfie and send it out to Facebook. We'll be really popular. We'll look really cool. And I was just like going on and on by myself there in the car about the absurdity of what people will allow themselves to be, pushed around and led to do by media. And, well, you can be a happy family with kitties and puppies all together in your jammies. What happened to, a long T-shirt and a pair of underwear? I'm just saying. It was like, what is going on with people? That's not going to make you happy. And yeah, put it on your charge card, get your charge card geared up there, so that you can't buy food, good food. Go put money into organic food for your family. You're complaining that, organic food is too expensive. Well, stop buying the stupid pajamas and whatever else they're telling you to buy and go buy some good food. So that was my rant for today.
I agree. But something odd that I've been noticing, right, is that when you look at the commercials that they have today, when they show you commercials with children in them, the children are acting like adults. Now, when they show you commercials that are geared for adults, they're animated or they are
like children.
Yes, I just noticed that.
You're right.
And I'm like,
oh my God.
Whoa.
Right. Well, the other thing, of course, you and I had talked about this on another show because I was again on another rant about the medications for kids that they're pushing through the media on these commercials, where you see in this particular one, the mother and the daughter, she was like about, I guess, 12, and the mother's talking, the daughter's in the background, and the mother's talking to you as the camera's, on her and talking to you, saying how she was very concerned about her daughter because her daughter was very depressed and wasn't doing well in school and she couldn't sleep and blah, blah, blah. She had suicidal thoughts and blah, blah, blah. But now when she goes over to her daughter and the music starts in the background, changing the music, and the room is all sparkly and the sun is shining and there's flowers on the table and her daughter is all happy and they hug each other. And now my daughter is doing so much better because she's on Xana Alexa Snasha Fashionamapa.
Yeah, and don't worry, some of the side effects are depression, thoughts of suicide.
What do they call it? The little print or what's that the small print, which nobody reads, are the side effects that tell you what the side effects. And one of them is suicide and depression. And that's a commercial to give your child a drug, So, and how all dressed up and pretty it is, but it's like what people see and in their minds, if you're sitting there, in your mundane life, house, that's what you're thinking anyway. My life is, mundane, and I'm bored, and I'm feeling lousy, and my kids are driving me crazy, and oh, maybe I'll get those pills because then I'll be happy and I'll have, everything will be wonderful then, you know?
And
So,
they go back to the doctor and they say, "Doctor, sometimes I feel happy, but not really a lot. I don't know. I don't think these pills are working for me." And the doctor says, "Oh, well, let me give you this pill to go along with it."
I got the answer for you. Let me get my little trusty prescription book out, folks. I got a ton of prescriptions for you. Yep, you can keep getting fed any drug you want, but the side effects keep piling up and piling up and piling up. And so what is it, people, that you're so unhappy? You're thinking a pill is going to make you happy, It's not going to make you happy. A new car isn't going to make you happy. A big house isn't going to make you happy. $500 sneakers aren't going to make you happy. They're really going to ruin your feet, actually. Now they found that out. But so Patty, we're talking about the state of affairs of people's, mentality here, and their minds and their spirits, their emotional, the mind, the body, and the spirit here. And people they are depressed. Depression is like spiking, and the drug use is, not only, well, drug use on the streets, but I'm talking about prescription pills, pharmaceuticals, is a huge business, right? So many people are unhappy, and they're looking for peace and happiness, and they're glued to the TV, and the TV's telling them, this is how you're going to find happiness. This is how you will be at peace. Look, we're showing you.
Oh, yeah, and you can see on the commercial, they are smiling and happy whenever they get that product. And they're really kind of bored or maybe sad or tired or whatever. But my gosh, if they get that new mattress, if they get that new game, if they get to go to the coat factory, they are happy campers.
Well, you have
That's
the whole
what makes you
family.
happy.
Yeah, you have the whole family standing around there in the mattress commercial. They're all standing in the mattress, and the mother and father are jumping on the mattress, and the salesman is going a mile a minute about this and that. And finally, the mother and father agree, and all the children jump on the mattress, and they're all smiling, and they're all happy, and life is good because mommy and daddy are getting that mattress now. Everything in their life is going to be good. Boy, listen to us. I'm like really on it today. I'm really on the rant because I'm just so fed up with this ruling mind control of people's lives and the sadness that I feel, and frustration, because it's like we're so brainwashed from the very early time in our life to seek happiness through consumerism, or hurting other people, or just being careless or greedy or whatever it is. So I feel really, I guess maybe this is spiking up for me because of this whole water, the greed around the water, that they don't even need the oil. I mean, I'm not looking into that, but somebody was saying how the oil prices are going down, and they missed their mark to get in on any kind of sales. They don't need that oil. I think it was Willona. Yeah, I can't now. LaDuke. Winona LaDuke was talking about that down there at Standing Rock with Amy Goodman on Democracy Now. Was talking about the information about the oil. That they don't even need that oil coming through that pipeline. They don't need it. And it's not going to help anybody here in this country anyway. It's going to be sent off out to China or some other place. So
What gets me is they tell you that the oil going through that pipeline is a lot safer than putting it on the rail or putting it on trucks to transport. Don't worry about the fact that the way that we're pulling this oil out of the earth now is the most toxic and polluting way of doing things, but it'll be okay because it's better to transport it in the pipe.
Yep. Well, every part of it is continually to be exposed for, what it really is. And I do feel, that the world is watching us. Of course, they're not only watching us because of Donald Trump, which I think is a deliberate distraction because people are paying more attention to that than what is really serious about, the water.
If it was serious, they wouldn't let us know anyway, would they?
No, no, it's a big distraction to keep everybody glued to this whole nonsense. Trump has exposed things that too, but he's a very strange duck, he's who knows what he's going to do. And I think that's, quite serious.
Did you do that on purpose?
He's not a steady human being,
Did you say that on purpose? That Donald's a strange duck? Did you really mean
no,
that?
I didn't. Oh my gosh. Well, somebody must be speaking through me. It must be the spirit of the grandmothers. Donald is a strange duck. Yeah. No, I didn't do it on purpose. I would though. That's me. Okay. Kind of snarky, but
just asking.
Yeah. So what do you think about I know we like to share solutions because we go on our rants, we tell it like it is because that's what we do. We're not here to do fuzzy-wuzzy kind of sweetie little nicey things because that's not what's happening in our life.
This is not how we roll.
No, this is real. We're talking about real stuff and it's not pretty. But other stuff is pretty too. We talk about that, but we have to go through the crap to get to the light. It's
yes,
like that.
Yes.
Right?
You got to clean the latrine before you can. Well, that's not very nice to say on air, is it? Never mind. Scratch that.
Yes. Git says Donald is a strange duck. May I share that on Facebook? Yes, go ahead. Oh my God. Just don't say I did it, that's all. Don't say,
No, it's not like it'll be on this podcast or anything, afterward.
Oh,
they won't never know you said it.
he'll get on Twitter and he'll start attacking me,
You're not even on Twitter.
No,
Are
that's
you on Twitter?
No. No, I'm not. Anyway, okay. I'm just saying we like to give, there are solutions, folks. There are solutions, and that's what we like to talk about after we run you through the mill with all this stuff and our kind of snarky stuff on people being mind controlled by, consumerists, think tanks. How are we going to get the people to buy our product? Like those stupid pajamas. I couldn't believe it. It's like, we're talking serious stuff about water pollution and people, water is life, and they're selling pajamas with kitties and puppies on them. So your family will be happy and be in debt. I'm just saying. So
yeah, just pull out that little credit card and get busy.
That's right. And ignore the real news. Ignore really what's going on around you. So the solutions, talking about people feeling lost, okay, hungry. I call them the hungry children. Like hungry for something. Give me something, give me something, give me something. I need something, I need something. I have to have something that will make me feel good, That's what I'm talking about. And there's an answer right on your computer or right on your TV. There is an answer. Those people got it down. They really got it down. They knew that people were going to be hungry because they set that up in the first place, so people would be going crazy looking for fulfillment in some place outside themselves and some thing that's going to make them happy, give them peace of mind or give them happiness. They set that whole thing up, and that's what I think really annoys me, is that people don't get that,
I'm gonna bring Karen on. Since she didn't get her show in, I'm going to bring her on and see if we can get her to add to the conversation. Karen, I'm adding you now. Skype's got a new little bloop, I think. I don't know. Let's hope that Sam is being okay with this. Karen, are you with us?
Well, I don't know, am I?
Sounds like you're with us.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, Barbara. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
All right. Well, I've been listening, and I've been also thinking a lot about this issue. It's motivated me to to speak up and to be here now and to be writing and trying to offer a solution, because I believe that there is one. And when you were talking too about the elders are asking people to go home, the veterans who are coming are not planning on coming armed. And I think it's got to be a decision that they individually make themselves, and that we now have to really start asking ourselves, what is the best way that I can protect life? What is the way that I can make my will bend to the will of the Creator? Not because I want to be subservient to a master, but because I want to serve life. I want to be able to give back. And this Edgar Cayce book that I'm reading then was talking about the will. And we've got to exercise our will. And he says that to see it in the framework of a triad, you've got the spiritual life energy, which is eternal and limitless, the mind, which is creative as it operates in all its capacities, including logic, intuition, imagination, and creativity, and the will, which gives us independent identity and freedom of choice. So to people now who are beginning to really awaken to this, we all need to make a choice. As soon as we hear about something that is immoral, we compromise our own morality by ignoring the issue. When we're talking about what's going on in the world and we're talking about it isn't our government, well, unfortunately, it's a government that has forced us to pay for their atrocities. So if we still support that, we're not supporting ourselves. And so in this book as well, this Edgar Cayce handbook, which is pretty interesting, Edgar Cayce believed that in every moment of life, we're either helping or hindering the Creator. And it is so important at this time to think of the bigger picture. I believe that most of us here really do understand that our spirits are eternal, and that this is just a little space in the eternity of our lives. And if you don't feel that way, do some real research. One of the reasons I do feel this way is because I've looked into Edgar Cayce, who was called the sleeping prophet. He was an American, and so many diseases he was able to cure simply by going into a hypnotic trance, being read a letter that told of the symptoms, and he would diagnose from a place deep within himself. So the hypnotic trance went beyond just a light one. It went into a deeper part of ourselves. Dolores Cannon was a very famous hypnotist who died in 2014. She did a lot of work on reincarnation. Edgar Cayce brought up reincarnation time and time again and talked about it being the reason that some of the people would have a problem. I remember reading a story about one man who had a limp, a serious limp. And when he went to Edgar Cayce for a reading, one of the answers that came out was because this man in his past had been involved in the Colosseums. And he was one of the guys who particularly got a kick out of watching the lions rip off the legs of people. And he was instrumental in putting some of the people into the Colosseum. So this was kind of a karmic lesson that he had to deal with. But at this time, with all these prophecies that are finally coming to fruition, we have a chance here to exercise our will, because our will is what sets us apart from the herd. It's what we do in order to claim our own lives. And to the order followers who are out there, what will happen if you are successful in protecting the corporation and limiting the amount of water that your descendants will have access to? What kind of a win is that? So for people who want to go out there, I don't know, Barbara, I think that the individuals who want to go should go, but they've got to remember to be peaceful, and we need to have the world watching. And since we are spirit and we want our lives to count for something, I can understand the elders being afraid that the people will be harmed. And that's true, but the people are already being harmed. And until the other people watching understand that this is a war. War has been declared upon us years ago. But, when we finally began to step outside of our own ego and look at what our will is, our will just being our ego and self-satisfaction. But if you look deeper into life, what is the will of life? And when I want to find that out, one of my prayers, because I have a very strong personality and spirit, and I've always been really upset at all of the violence and everything that's in the world, but at the same time, I try and control it or control the outcome, and there's no way to do that. But I'm a peaceful, spiritual rainbow warrior, and I work on myself. And when I want to let go, and I want to meld my will with the will of the Creator, this is what I do. And I'm going to share. This is one of my prayer songs. If you'd like, kind of close your eyes and let these words be your words for being able to get out of our own way and instead step into the will of life, Mother Earth, of the Creator. I will to will thy will. 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 So whether or not it was Jesus or Buddha or Mohammed, it still goes down further than that to the very seat of life itself. And we need to obey, and we need to honor life, because life wants to thrive. And we've got to use our will and train our will, our individual will, to step back for the bigger picture. And so if you end up going to Standing Rock, be peaceful, because I do think that they need the numbers. I think the whole world needs to be watching. And on a personal note, I believe very strongly that when we do use our will, when we ask ourselves the really tough questions like, what is the meaning of life? Well, in my opinion, the meaning of life is to leave this a better place than it was when you came, to do what you can to honor life, to honor the spirit, and to cause no harm, injury, or loss deliberately. That's life, and really, truly living. We've been tricked into thinking that profit is going to help us, and it isn't at all. So it's time to stand up and be accountable to each other and to the planet, not to the stupid dollar. This is more than profit above people, and we cannot have any type of true justice and life if we have profit that is being valued above people, because this is an abundant world, and the only reason that there is poverty is because of the mismanagement from the controllers. So when these veterans go out on December 4th, I'm encouraging people to stand with them by boycotting or striking, so that we can focus our attention on protecting the water, because we drink water, and if there is no water, there is no life. So these times are the beginning of the ending times, either for the people or for the controllers. And the way that we can win is to stand together and unite and put our foot down and say no more profit. People can take vacation days. You can call in sick to work. But if you work for a corporation, think about the ramifications of your actions, and think about, by the time you get your paycheck, the work is already done. But creatively, what could you bring to the table to help in the future? What kind of skills do you have that you can barter with? What can you do to help your neighborhood? So I thank you, Pattie, for having me in, and Barbara too. I hope people will focus on this and step back and reboot the world and take their power back and stand together on the 4th And those who can strike, do it. Don't give them any profit whatsoever. Once we turn our backs on the system, if there's no one who follows an order, the order givers will just disappear. And besides, if you're following an order, you're not living your life anyway, and you cannot abdicate your own responsibility for your will. Will gives us individuality. It allows us to stand aside and observe ourselves, to be objective and self-reflective, and it's necessary for spiritual development. Will is the opposer of habits. We all have strong patterns of thinking, feeling, and acting that are ingrained routines and would control our lives forever if we let them. But by acts of will, we can resist the momentum of the past and steer a new course. Will is the developer of the soul. If spiritual evolution is our goal, then right use of will is indispensable. The Casey readings go so far as to suggest that the whole ball game of soul growth boils down to how we use our will. So, water. We need water. We don't need money. We can't eat money. We can't eat gold or silver. But what we can do is drink water and purify our thoughts, our hearts, and our minds. This Edgar Casey book also said, like a tuning fork. Barbara, you were talking about prayer and how important that is, and I totally agree. To hold that frequency, to hold a higher frequency, to try and clear ourselves. And just like a tuning fork, if you hit one tuning fork and then you get it near another tuning fork that is tuned to the same frequency, without even touching the second tuning fork, it will begin to resonate. So we need the planet to begin to resonate with a higher frequency, and supposedly that's coming in. We need to resonate with a higher frequency, reach out to each other, and if we are at Standing Rock, we need to hold that line peacefully, because once the mind has heard something, it can't unhear, it can't it can't ignore what it's heard. So all of the truth that's being spoken to these order followers is also affecting them, and they're hearing, and they're going to be wondering too, what will they do when their children and their grandchildren are unable to drink water because they were successful at their jobs. So that's, please share this information. Think in your hearts, think about what's really important, and use your will to support action, some type of action starting December 4th. And please share the information about Standing Rock like your life depended on it, because our life does depend on water. And it's really coming down to the time where we win or the controllers win. So let's stand and resist peacefully. Boycott, strike, do what you can to focus all attention on protecting the water and protecting Mother Earth, because when enough of us put our foot down, when enough profit drops, when enough of us say we refuse to obey any immoral orders, as a matter of fact, we refuse to do anything for corporate profit until peace is declared. All troops are sent home to their countries and cities to help rebuild, to get the care that they need, and all harmful practices to the earth are ceased. Fracking, oil drilling. There's so much hidden technology in the black ops that would make oil drilling obsolete anyway. We need to demand that, and we need to demand accountability of ourselves, our neighbors. And if you are living next to an order follower, confront him peacefully, but forcefully and deliberately. Why are you doing your job? What are your children going to drink? And I'm sorry, but I'm not serving you at my restaurant. I'm not doing your laundry. I'm not cleaning your house. I'm not cooking your dinner. You got to take it down the line, because the time has come finally to use your will to align with the Creator's will and to protect this planet. So thank you, Pattie and Barbara, for letting me get that out there.
You're welcome, Karen. And that's the thing that we do appreciate on these Changing Times Radio, that we can speak our minds and we can say what it is that is in our hearts. We don't always agree. And I will say that there was something put in the chat by Lowe's Hay, and I want to speak on that a little bit. Like she said, some beautiful things are coming out of this confrontation with the water protectors and the corporation. The people are coming together. The tribes, for the first time, all are coming together and unifying across Turtle Island and the globe. People, non-indigenous people, which I don't like that word because to me all people are indigenous, and that's a misnomer to me. But the people are coming together from all over the globe. And what they're doing is they're becoming conscious. We are seeing, a lot of people have said that what's going on at Standing Rock is the Rainbow Warriors are rising. And I do believe that there is some truth in that. But I do not believe that that is where it will begin. I mean, that is where it will end. I think that that's just the beginning. I think that the movement that is being moved within the hearts and minds of the people is stronger than what is going on. And I know a lot of people might not understand what I'm saying, but I think it's stronger than what's going on at Standing Rock. I do believe that what we are experiencing now at this time is the budding flower of the rise of the people to reclaim the mother and to reclaim their own lives. And as you said, Karen, there are many ways that you can do this. Many ways. None of us are shackled from our will. None of us can be made to do what we don't want to do or not do what we truly want to do. And if we search our hearts and we search the truth that lives within us and we find ourselves in the same place as the people of Standing Rock, and in respect of the mother, and in understanding that the generations that follow will suffer because we were inactive, if we come to those truths, then each one of us is going to find the direction that we need to go. And we need to be about now going in those directions, making that choice, making that stand, and saying, yes, it's my time now to do what I have to do. And we cannot tell the whole world, you must be peaceful. We cannot tell the whole world, don't get angry. We cannot tell the world to all get angry. The world of people will do what they feel they are compelled to do. And so each of us must speak our truth. And it will be heard by those in kind. And it will be passed on by those in kind. And we will each choose the path that we're going to take. I think that our faith right now needs to be put in change, needs to be put in the power of each individual to realize what power you do have, and that, yes, your mind, your prayers, your deeds all have an impact on what's happening right now. Every time you take a breath, and that breath is taken in prayer of a better day, you are affecting change. Every time that you step out of your house and do something that improves life for any living thing, you improve life for all things. So it's more important right now that we each commit to changing our future, and with that go in the direction that we're led. I truly do believe. What do you think, Barb?
Well, I feel very strongly about passion. I feel passionate about the water. I feel passionate about what the people are doing there at Standing Rock. I feel passionate about the rising up of people and the awakening of people. I feel their passion. The anger, I don't agree with, because as a person who carries sacred pipe, person who, follows this way, in the Lakota tradition as being someone who has adopted Lakota, I don't believe that anger is the answer. Passion, passionate, yes, because passionate with compassion. If you have anger, it's a different frequency. If you really understand what we're talking about, this is the time of enlightenment, the time of the rising of the light, the rising of peace, the rising of the Rainbow Warriors, and coming into the 1,000 years of peace, fifth world, 1,000 years of peace. We can't get there through that energy, anger, violence, hatred, jealousy. Those are low frequencies, and they drag you back into the fourth world of chaos, because it's chaos. we don't want to get involved in chaos because that's a low frequency. It will not rise our energy up. We need to be in the higher frequencies in order to make change, to transition into this new time. So I feel very strongly about the passion of the people there. And I know the power that goes through that chanumpa. I mean power. It is an unknown power. A person who carries that sacred pipe has to be in certain frequency. Otherwise, they are responsible for the energy that runs through that power that runs through that chanumpa, that sacred pipe. That pipe has healed people. That pipe has also destroyed people. That's because it is an unknown power. And when you have that in your hands, when you are standing near that, your frequency runs through that power, that
you
pipe.
Should never take the Chanupa while in anger.
Absolutely not. So this is what the grandmothers are talking about when they say, let the great spirits, the big spirits, do their work. Get out of the way, move out of the way with your energy that might not be in alignment that needs to be through that sacred pipe, because that's what they're praying with. That's what they're praying with there, and they have generations and generations and generations, trust me, of knowledge of that sacred pipe and what it can do on both levels. So it's all good, to say, we do need to stand up for the water. I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate, absolutely. But we have to be really aware and very careful of the energies that people bring that may not be aware, because that's very disruptive and it's not going to be fruitful. It's not going to be beneficial. Something extraordinary is happening, people. We don't know all of what's happening because Creator is at work. Okay, we are participants, right? So how are we going to participate? The power of your passionate love for the Mother Earth and your prayers for the water and all of that's functioning in alignment with what the grandmothers are talking about, And yeah, sure, they don't want people to be hurt there. That's one of the reasons, but that is not the main reason that they're asking people to leave. As they said, move aside and let the big spirits do the miracle that we're all praying for. So that's what this is about, And I have to say that everything will unfold according to Spirit's plan, Creator's plan. Are we to go there? Are people to go there? Are those vets to go there and great harm is done and death occurs? Is that the plan? I feel the Rainbow Warriors, we're at the very tip of that rising. I think that things are going to really occur that people will really need. A great majority of people need to work to wake up for change. I don't think we're there yet. So what is going to put the people in that frame of mind where they say, we can no longer do this because, yes, our water is undrinkable now. The air, we can't breathe it now. I'm just seeing this through what Spirit is saying and what the prophecies are saying. This is coming towards something extraordinary, and it's all in our hands. And yes, free will, we were all given free will by the Great Spirit, the will to choose either something positive, the light, or the dark. We are all there, and this is a great power, of course. So I really feel this is an extraordinary time, and we're fortunate to be here. We've all agreed to come back here. And I think we need to go into our hearts, not in our minds. I think we need to listen to the grandmothers and the grandfathers who are speaking, as she said, out of respect. That is the way of the people. When the grandmothers and grandfathers tell you something, it's respectful to follow what they're saying. And also, if you feel passionate enough and you feel the calling, pray about that. Don't just say, I'm going because I'm angry or I want to do something. Pray about it. Pray about it. And yes, you may very well get a strong calling to go. That's fine. I can't tell anybody not to go. I'm just sharing what the grandmothers are saying, the grandfathers, but I also know the passion in your hearts. And if you really feel that passion, I know the grandmothers would say to you, pray on that, and Spirit will tell you, guide you. And that's then what you follow, not your head, not your mind. Don't follow the mind. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Well, I
and
just want.
go ahead, Karen.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts, Barbara. I wanted to say though that I want to just express the fact that I believe that anger is a very necessary and useful emotion. It's what we do with it. But I have heard people for years talk about, oh, if you're angry, you're bad, you're wrong, you're this, you're that. Well,
I'm not saying that you're bad, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. And I did hear what you said about anger. I'm sharing with you, just what I know, around those sacred pipes. That's what I'm talking about, There are times, yes, when anger is very healthy. Not rage, but anger is very healthy. But not around, I'm saying not around, I'm only sharing with you about around the sacred pipe, you see. That's what I'm talking about.
okay,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I respect that. I didn't think you were saying that I was, but I know this year when I started off, I was very angry, and I was writing articles too about using that anger to spur me to action, because that was when, at the beginning of the year, we were given a chance as well to do some good with Ammon Bundy. And they took over the Mauer Wildlife Refuge, which is like 6 hours or so from here. And even though the timing may not have been right, their stand was right. So they used their anger finally over all the atrocities of the BLM to motivate them, and they had to pay for it, but they used their anger positively. So anger, once we recognize that we are angry, then it's really up to us to look and see why are we angry? What are we angry at? Who are we really angry at as well? Is it really us? Or is it someone else? And is there something that we can do to change that situation, to let our anger motivate us to do something positive? So, and in the sacred camps and the carrying the pipes, Barbara, maybe you could explain more about that. I would like to understand more about that with the pipes, and I'm enjoying very much learning more about the customs here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you know about the sacred pipe, the chanumpa, really, because I don't really call it a pipe, because a pipe is what a plumber used, but people may not understand the word chanumpa because it's a Lakota term, but it is an unknown power, and it came to the people from the White Buffalo calf pipe woman, Pescawian, who came as a spirit and brought the people the 7 ceremonies. And one of those ceremonies is that lodge, or that inipi, the purification lodge that they have set up there, where you go inside and you pray. Everything that the people do there, the elders, the people, the Lakota people, everything they do is with a prayer. They pray on everything. They don't just make a decision without a prayer. And they pray through that sacred pipe. So their prayers are put in that pipe, and the elders have the capacity, certain elders, to receive this voice of spirit, or the ancestors speak to them from the other side. That is how they function. That is why they said when we first started this gathering, we went to the ancestors, meaning the spirit. We went into ceremony, meaning the lodge. We prayed, meaning with the chanumpa, and we received the guidance that this place here that we are bringing people to and asking people to help us is to be prayerful, peaceful. That's it. The spirits told them that. So there's something behind that. They will follow that no matter what happens. That's why they would never raise a fist, raise a voice, or raise any anger or rage toward what is going on to them. That's what this is about, because they know the spirits are asking them to do it this way. Then your prayers will be answered. If you don't do it this way, what you're praying for will not happen. This is very ancient. I mean, this is, like I'm saying, generations and generations of knowledge about the power of that chanumpa, that sacred pipe. I mean, I have seen miracles. I have seen miracles, and I have also seen bad things happen with people who disrespect that. I have heard the stories of elders. That's why they're very careful. If you've been asked to carry a chanumpa, sacred pipe, you are, let's say, a very respectful person. You have to be very with your words. You can't speak you can't be cursing. You can't be raging. You can't have alcohol. You can't have drugs. You have to walk in what we call a sacred manner, because what you are goes through that chinampa. How you speak goes through that as a power. It can do harm to people. You can do harm. And then it goes for generations like that.
What do they put in the pipe when they are smoking it and using it? And I can appreciate that you would have to be clear and clean yourself, but what kind of tobacco is used when they pass it around?
In my tradition, it's chinchasha. It's red willow. It's not tobacco. In some of the other tribes, they might use tobacco, but that would be something that they grow that's handed down from generation to generation that is a pure tobacco.
And there are some that are made from different herbs and
it could be sage, sage or bear medicine,
mixed together.
Exactly. But for me, we use chinchasha, which is red willow, which grows around here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious about that because, you hear some people are talking about, well, they're just smoking pot and getting high and all the rest of it. But I believe that actually the marijuana is sacred smoke, and it's a healing.
Well, it's a medicine. You see, it's a medicine. That's a medicine, as well as the mushrooms. Peyote is a healing medicine, and it's ayahuasca. These are all sacred plants that have been used for centuries by the people in a very respectful way. So tobacco was a medicine. Original tobacco of the people was a medicine. They used it for medicines. It's a healing medicine, not just for smoking. They didn't just sit around smoking. They use that as a medicine. Well, it's gotten corrupted now because the people messed with it, and there's poisons in it now. But we use natural tobacco. We grow our own tobacco. But and the red willow grows on the land here. But my concern, because I am a carrier and I've received the guidance from the elders about how to carry that pipe, it's not something I jumped into or not something that I said, hey, I want to do this, because when I was told by an elder that I needed to carry this sacred pipe, and I was terrified. I was terrified.
Were you when this happened?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The first time I ever held one of them, when the elder passed it around for everybody to take a few puffs of it and bless themselves with it, I was shaking. Because I read about it. I knew from the old people the power of that. This is so sacred. It is, right?
Yeah, and I've been in a circle before when they passed the pipe where people have stepped back because they knew that there was something within them. Perhaps they were angry at someone. Perhaps something was not right within them, and they knew better than to take from the pipe. And they are on.
You cannot have blood on your hands and smoke a chinampa. You cannot have blood on your hands and carry a pipe. You cannot, because what you have done is an energy, and will go through you through the power of that pipe. It is the most sacred implement given to the people. And I have seen people smoke that chinampa and have a healing experience. That's how powerful it is. So my concern, you see, why I'm talking with you, and I know your passion, it's beautiful, and I love it, and people need to have that passion for the water. That's very real. My concern is, when the elders speak and they ask people now to go home because your prayers are powerful, but we need you to go home so that the big spirits can do their work. Those are the words. They know why. Okay? And you have to trust. You have to have trust and faith. I have trust and faith that our prayers are doing things, are coming to fruition. They may not be coming to fruition the way you'd like to see it or other people would like to see it, but I know that our prayers are that powerful, as do the other elders. So this is what we're trying to get across to people. I know that people would like to, see that pipeline dismantled and ended and that's it. I know I'd love to see that too, but it's in Creator's hands. And if our prayers are strong and we listen to the elders, like the grandmother said, and trust and faith that your love of the water and your prayers and your passion for that is making a difference, and like Pattie said earlier, it does not mean you have to show up at Standing Rock. Now, I'm not telling you don't go. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just putting this out because many people are really feeling like, I wish I were there. Maybe I should be there. I can't. You need to be where you are, praying right there by water. Go to water, because that water is connected to the Mississippi. All water is connected. So you don't have to be on the ground there. You know, that's why I say to people when they tell me, I feel like I should go, I want to go, I say, well, put prayers out and ask if Creator wants you to go there. Creator will tell you. It's not about what's in your mind. I feel guilty, I should be there, I'm over here doing nothing, I should be there, I could make a difference, right? Go and make a prayer. Put all the stuff you have in your mind about how this is wrong and we should be there standing, and put all that aside and just put some tobacco down on that mother and ask Creator, be quiet and go to your heart. You'll get that guidance. That's what the elders are saying, you know, have that trust and faith. Your passion is beautiful, you know, and that's what we need. We need people passionate about this, but we also need the free will to choose, okay, what spirit, what is Creator asking me to do, right? Because you will get that answer. It's in you. It's inside of you.
I think that's where earlier when I was talking about divine will and personal will.
Right.
That's getting
right.
out of the way. So
that's exactly right. Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Well, I would like to have you sometime. You'll have to guest with me, Barbara, so I can ask you more questions about your history, because it's very interesting and intriguing to me that then as a carrier of a water pipe, you can't drink, you can't swear, you have to always be a moral steward in your life in order to have this honor bestowed upon you.
That's really right. I had to do a lot of cleanup. I'll tell you one thing that I knew I had to clean up, and that was my doubt. You see, my doubt in Creator, my doubt in myself. You cannot have doubt and carry a sacred pipe for the people, because I don't own that pipe. This is for you. This is for all the people, and this is for the mother. This is for all of creation, this pipe that I pray with. So that's a big responsibility. It's a huge responsibility. It's not something that I sought out. It took me months to go back to that elder and say, did you say that I needed to do this? And I got the reply, yes, you don't listen. It took me...
How old were you, though?
I was in my 40s.
When they
I'm 73 now.
You got me by 9 years.
Woohoo. And it took me months after that to clean up my act, to pray really hard, to be free of anything that would corrupt that pipe, that would run through that pipe, that would hurt people and hurt my own generations.
So how long do you carry it, and how often do you smoke to pray with it? And do you do it individually, or is it always a smoke in a group?
Well, it's my life.
Okay.
It is my life. And I have a personal pipe and I have a ceremonial pipe. Okay. Sometimes I do share the personal one depending on the circumstance. And in the ceremonies that I lead, I share that one that's for that particular ceremony. Yeah. I pray that pipe, the spirit of that pipe talks to me. So it will speak to me and tell me it's time. My elder said to me, you have to exercise that chanumpa, that pipe, because it needs exercise, meaning you need to work with it constantly. It's a teacher, it's a guide, it's a teacher, the spirit. There's a spirit living in that pipe. When you put it together, you begin, the spirit is in that pipe.
Thank you. You know, this is really interesting to me. There's so much to learn as I keep, journeying through life here, but that's quite an honor. That's quite an honor I see to be bestowed upon you, and you have to walk and act with honor in order to keep it. And then do you choose to pass it to someone else? Is there a time, like when you get close to, I guess, the end of your time, is that when you pass it along, or do you pass?
Well, again, that I will be guided.
Okay.
again, spirit will guide me, you see. I have helped people to become carriers of the sacred pipe as well. But it's not my decision. It's spirit's guidance, you see. So yeah, it's all the guidance through spirit, and that's why I say the grandmothers and grandfathers, the elders there at Standing Rock, are all being guided. They're not just speaking out from their own heads because they're deciding things from their own minds or heads or whatever. They're in prayer constantly. That's what they keep telling you. We're in prayer, and they are in prayer, and they're in prayer with that sacred pipe, that Chanumpa Wakan sacred pipe. And that's how they receive guidance, and that's how they've received guidance for centuries and centuries.
Well, now, which elders have said this for people to go home? Is it members from all of the tribes, or a certain number of tribes, or?
It was from Pine Ridge and from Standing Rock.
Okay.
Now, here's an interesting thing that you just bring into my mind. Spirit is speaking here. When Pescawi and the White Buffalo Calf woman first brought the Chanumpa Wakan to the people, they were really starving, and things were really difficult for them, and there was a lot of warring, and a lot of people were dying and so on. And she brought them the Chanumpa Wakan from Great Spirit, and she told them that if you stand behind this Chanumpa Wakan, your lives will be in harmony and balance, and all things will be good for your coming generations if you walk in this sacred manner. Well, then something started to happen, as we know the history here of Turtle Island, how the Europeans came and what they carried with them. And they destroyed many of those sacred items of the people, and they disallowed them to follow their sacred prayers or lodge or pray with the pipe. So that was a separation of the agreement the people made with White Buffalo Calf woman and Creator. So something started to happen, and I've thought of this very often. So that pipe has been corrupted. So many people today, alcohol is rampant, violence on the reservations, suicides on the reservations are high percentage. It's really people who carry a lot of people, and there are some people who carry the sacred pipe who are maybe drink, or who are corrupted themselves due to the lifestyle of the people. There are non-native people who carry pipes now who maybe bought it in a store, or didn't go through the protocols of the tradition to receive that. Like I said, it's not something that you say, gee, I think I'm going to carry a pipe. You don't do that in the traditional way. An elder will approach you, or you have dreams, and then you go to an elder and you receive guidance from them. It's not something that you jump into, like I say. So here I'm looking at this, what happened to the people who were carrying this powerful sacred pipe from Creator, and they were to follow in the footsteps of the way that White Buffalo Calf woman guided them, was to honor the Mother Earth, to respect the women and the children, to protect the women and the children, to hold all things in respect and harmony and balance, to do these ceremonies, to take part in the ceremonies, to make the offerings, feed the ancestors, to do the sun dance, to do these prayers, the Humbalachia, the vision quest, make your offerings. In other words, be in relationship with Creator's, gift of the Mother Earth and all of life. And that all changed. Something happened. That was all corrupted, and that made me feel that energy is running through these sacred pipes that people are, not all, but it is. All you need is one or two or a couple to start putting that power of negativity out through that power of that pipe. So, so that the way of the people was, deliberately corrupted. I believe that's part of the agenda, is to destroy the way of the original people that were the stewards of the Mother Earth and all of life. And now jump over to Europe. Okay, our ancestors, your ancestors, all were tribal people. They also had their sacred ways. They also listened before technology came, before organized religions came. They were close to the Mother. They were tribal. all people, black, red, yellow, and white, right? And so you have today, you have some of the yellow people still remain holding the sacred tablet that was given to them with the original instructions. So the black people, there's a tribe beneath Kilimanjaro who holds the sacred tablet that was given to the black nations on how to live in harmony and balance. You have some of the red people, like the Hopis one, who carries they still have the sacred tablet, stone tablet that was given to them with the original instructions on how to live in harmony and balance. The white brothers and sisters lost their sacred stone tablet and their original instructions, and they became fully lost and corrupted by the energy, the evil, whatever you want to call it. The usurpers that want to destroy everything that is sacred, everything that is sacrosanct, they want to destroy, you see. So this is what I'm talking about, the power of this Chinunpa. Her words, the words of the white buffalo calf woman, were so important, and I realized, wow, you know, there's an energy running through, and there's violence, there's rape, there's murder, there's suicide, there's alcoholism on these reservations, and a lot of people, there's the separation of those people because you have the traditionals or the ones who hold the teachings of the white buffalo calf woman, and you have their people living next door on the reservations who are Protestants, who are Methodists, who are Catholics, and they're at odds with each other. The people who once stood together and held the sacred way of how to live on the earth and hold all things in harmony and balance have been corrupted. And that's affecting everyone. That's affecting everyone.
There's also, though, my husband was commenting in the background as we're listening to you, and he made a comment, though, about the prayer and action needing to be taken as well, because prayers can only get you so far, and I guess I'm feeling compelled at this point in my life to believe that not only do I pray, but I need to take action. And when I'm hearing to be told to stay home and pray, I think that we've got to be really careful with determining what can we individually do to try and honor that, but at the same time understand that there's a time for honorable defense. And as a people, we have been trained out of defending ourselves because we've been trained that our anger is wrong and that our standing up is wrong, and you know you're supposed to suffer, it's God's will, and when you die you're going to gain your rewards. And I think that we have to also start looking, as we are in this time, where do you draw the line, you know, between prayer and honorable defense, like the people.
Well, I hear what you're saying, and here's the thing. So the grandmothers and grandfathers are saying that you all came here and you prayed. You all did that work. Pelamaya, thank you. You all stood with us. Your prayers are powerful. Okay, we're asking you now to go home to let the big spirits do the miracle. Okay, so what you're saying, but you're over here and you're saying, but I feel like I need to go there. I need to do some action. I need to take action. Okay, but you're not listening to the grandmothers and grandfathers. What they're saying, all the people that came there, their prayers are powerful. You're still praying here wherever you are. I'm here. I'm praying here too. Our prayers are all linked. We're all connected. It's not because you're not there that it's not powerful, you know. And so taking action, you can take action anywhere. And yes, you're right. We've all been told to be quiet, sit still, and put duct tape over your mouth. That's true. And now's the time to take that off and stand up. Yes, and take action. My question, I guess, is, well, I'm not going to ask the question. What I'm going to say is to you again, go outside and put tobacco, sacred tobacco, because it's sacred when you hold it in your hand and you touch your heart and you say, I bless this tobacco and thank you, Mother, for growing it. It becomes sacred through your voice and your intention, and Spirit's listening to you. And ask. Put all that aside, what you just said. I feel like we need to take action. I want to be there on the ground. That's action. You know, ask if this is what you are supposed to do. Because you're coming from, you know, your passion, and it's your heart is passionate, but you're in your mind, you're having all this conversation. That is the way the grandmothers would advise you. But I'm not telling you don't go there. I'm just sharing with you what the grandmothers and grandfathers there said, because they're saying in the way of the people, this is what you do. You respect what the grandmothers, because they're in touch with Great Spirit through that Chinoopa.
I understand, and I personally, I've made peace with the fact that I feel that I can do more holding my own frequency. While I was not familiar with the pipe, I pray all the time. I've got a running kind of a dialogue here, and I definitely understand respecting elders and all of that. I'm just coming to a time where I think that also there's got to be action in some form. And
I'm going to give you somebody to connect with.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the grandmother who spoke.
Oh, that would be. I would love to have her join me too, so that I'm
gonna give you her email, and you can write her, and you can ask her. Let me see if I can find it here. You can ask her. Yeah, I was gonna have her on my show too. Have her on your show. I think you should talk to her and tell her, and find out what she says to you.
I would love that, because what I'm trying to do as well is not only to walk my path, encourage others to do that as well, so that when we are coming into this, that we're stepping more out of our way and into the divine will. And I just know for so many years, and my husband has said too, you can be kneeling and praying, and then they'll come and they'll shoot you, wipe you out, murder you. Well, at least then if you're praying, you've gone to the right spot. But
well, it's like because I carry a Chinoopa, I've had people say to me, if people come to the land, we have to have guns, because they might take our food. And I said, we can't do that. I said, I can't have that. I carry that Chinoopa. We have to welcome those people. We have to welcome them and share. This is what we need to do. Everybody wake up. We need to share what we have with others. We have to stop that separateness, because that's the cabal, that's the elite. That's what they've been trying to do, is separate us. Those men who had tears in their eyes and left their jobs, their police jobs, they've been touched deeply. And that's what we need to do, is touch them deeply. That's what the prayers are about, right? So I can't stand in the driveway with a gun or be even on that land. That's my community. I can't say, yeah, go get a gun and don't let those people here on the land. They might be starving. We're family here. We're all related. Even those men, even those people who are doing horrible things, they are still our family. Mitakuye Yasin means we are all related. That means really you have to live by that code. You can't say accept those people because I don't like what they're doing. So talk to this grandmother, and talk to her, see what she says, Also, you can send the elders help through, send them a package in the mail, a donation. You could send them 100% cotton, red, black, red, yellow, and white. Blue and green, those are the sacred colors that we use for our ceremonies, and it's very difficult. Sometimes the fabrics down there in South Dakota and North Dakota are very expensive. They use those for the sacred prayer ties, for the ceremonies. You could send them tobacco, American Spirit tobacco. You could send them coffee. You can help the elders, too.
Are they evacuating as well? Are they going to be?
No.
So they're willing to sacrifice themselves then when they're saying to go and let the Great Spirit come?
I don't know what they're doing. You have to ask. They live there.
Yeah, and
that's their home ground.
Leave. Yeah, the elders would never leave.
Yeah,
they will be there long.
That's their home. Yeah.
Well, then, isn't it? It's going to be very difficult for them to ask their family members to leave them there. So this is a very interesting time that we're coming into. I don't have the answers here, but I really believe that as many people globally who we can get to be looking at this need to be, and if you're there, be there with a camera, stream
You
live.
have to keep remembering that everything they do is through the sacred pipe. Every decision they make is through prayers and guidance from Spirit they receive. Everything they do. So it's easy for us to say, well, they should do this, or they might not do that, or why aren't they doing this? It's because they're in prayer, as they keep saying. We are in prayer. That means they're praying with the Chanumpa, the sacred pipe, and receiving guidance on what to do, what steps to take now, what direction do we go, how do we speak to the people that are here, what's the guidance. That's what the elders do.
Well, at least we can begin to boycott and strike on that day and go into peaceful prayer and meditation, try and become that tuning fork and get the word out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
If they don't make profit, they will come to the table. The controllers are more afraid of the word strike than we are, but we've been trained to be afraid of it because they always send in their violent thugs, either the Pinkertons or somebody else in a uniform, which is wrong. So we've got so many things to break through and to follow the ramifications of our own actions, because it is time, and it's probably time also. I think we've gone over a little, but I want to thank you, Pattie and Barbara, for
Karen. I just put the grandmother's email in the Skype, so for you. Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, thank you. I got to get out some of what I wanted to say earlier. So, Pattie, thank you for getting me on your program. And thank you also, Barbara. It's been really nice to talk to you, and I would love to have you join me sometime so I can find out more. I've got a ton of questions for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's nice talking with you, too.
All right,
I'll hold you in my prayers.
Thank you. I think all of us. All of us.
Absolutely.
When I pray, I ask for the best solution for the highest good. And I say solution because I think that it needs to go deeper this time so that we don't repeat this. If we're going to bring in 1,000 years of peace, let's make it more than 1,000 years. Let's really get to the root of this and recognize the life within each other, within ourselves, and honor that. So namaste.
Well, thank you both for being on today. What a brilliant show. And for everybody out there listening, please check out UnitedWeStrike.com, and you can find out more information on the boycott on December 4th. Please go there. Or is that December 5th? I'm not sure. Please go and check it out on UnitedWeStrike.com. And thanks for listening, everybody. You've been listening to Turtle Talk on These Changing Times Radio once again. And we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Good night, everybody.